Are you boys feeling amped today?
Yes.
Are you feeling amped up? Huh?
Yeah. I'm amped.
Yeah? This is an amped up episode of the NGMI podcast.
Woo!
Jack Dytrych, Kevin Lyons, and Scott Sire. Sorry.
That's my Scooby-Doo impression.
Maybe we should do that one more time. I feel like that was very irritating to anyone who's listening. They'd be like, I'm going to turn this shit off right now.
Yeah. Let's get a calm one.
Okay.
Zen.
For the calm room.
Yeah.
All right, are you boys feeling like energetic, ready to get this podcast popping today?
I think that's a little too calm, Scott.
A little too calm?
I've never
All right.
been more energetic in my life.
I feel like super amped right now.
That's crazy, guys.
This episode is brought to you by Amped, a new energy drink that we made.
You know what? I hate all these brought to you by, sponsored by things when I'm not getting sponsors, all right?
Damn. Hey, look at this shit.
Wait,
this
I feel
beautiful
like we still
set.
didn't get a good intro.
Oh, okay, go again.
Woo!
Sheesh.
Sheesh!
God damn.
Woo.
Woo! What's up,
Rubber
guys?
raggy.
What's up, guys?
Zoinks.
That's twice now that I've started the What's Up, guys, and then someone has jumped in with a sound effect.
All right, we won't say nothing.
Kevin, how's your day been?
Been good.
He said we won't say nothing.
Dude.
You lied to me. All right, let's start this over again. What's up, guys? Welcome to the NGMI podcast. I don't know how to do this anymore.
Three Blood Brothers, random times.
Okay. From the top, make it drop. That's a bomb-ass podcast.
Wow.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the NGMI podcast. Just three blood brothers sitting here talking about random crap. And today might not be as random as usual.
Ooh.
Because first of all, we want to bring up that our set is brand new, baby.
Look
Looking
at this.
sexy.
This is beautiful.
And when I say brand new, I mean a lot of the same things are here, but a lot of things have changed as well, right? We got this fugly mirror over here. Not saying it's ugly. I'm saying that's the name of the mirror.
That's the brand name, Kevin. Write
Fugly.
it down.
Fugly.
Write it down.
Fugly.
On what?
Your hand.
With what? Your other hand. We got some things that are bound to fall on people's heads over here on top of the sign.
My head.
Impossible. It won't.
Definitely.
It definitely will.
And then we got all this new art. We got Scotty. We got Home Alone. These are all from the photo shoot we took when we first started this podcast. Jack Dytrych put the creative direction together. And we had a stylist put us in outfits. Kevin's particularly fond of this one. He loved being Rose from Titanic.
Yeah, I look sexy in that one.
My
You had to wear a
favorite.
full dress.
He did have. We kind of wrapped him in like a little blanket and
Yeah,
pretended
it was
like it was a
a
dress.
small blouse.
Also, I just want to say for the audio listeners, if you want to see our brand new set, head over to the YouTube channel. Check that video out.
And if you don't give a damn, let's
Yeah.
get right into this episode, shall we?
Also, if you want to see us decorating this set, explaining all the items and everything, we did a Patreon-only episode.
We did a Patreon-only episode of this podcast, which is us just kind of dicking around, trying to figure out how to put shelves up. As you can see, there's no shelves here.
The shelves did not go very well.
I cut my finger really bad. It was gushing blood.
Yeah. Anyways,
Cut to the bone.
it's a video that I should have put on YouTube because it would probably get millions of views, but instead it's up exclusively on Patreon. So if
Yeah.
you guys want to check that out, go to patreon.com/ScottySire or check it out in the description below. But now,
Kevin was naked in the whole episode.
I was not naked in the whole
Yeah,
episode.
it was.
Okay.
Go watch.
All right, I was naked.
I was going to say, come on, man. That's my little brother. He's a child.
He's my little brother, too.
Yeah.
We're all related
And
by
he's
blood.
not a child. He's 20.
I'm
Yeah.
20.
That's true.
Kevin could be naked if he wants to.
Yeah, legally.
When are you starting an OnlyFans, bro?
Next week.
Next
Fuck
week.
yeah.
I'll plug it next week.
Do you think
Nice.
mom and dad would be happy if you had an OnlyFans, or would they care, or what do you think?
I think mom wouldn't care, and I think dad would think it would be funny.
Nice.
So it'd be good.
Would you do softcore, just like naked pictures? Would you do no naked, or just you'd flaunt it all?
I'd yeah, all the way. If you're gonna do an OnlyFans, I feel like you go all the way. Might as well.
Nice.
Would you do actual like sex performances on there, or just like photos?
Just
videos
photos. Just
of
photos.
You?
We keep it classy.
This
Keep
brings me to any update on Summer?
No.
The girl who gave you a hickey?
A hickey?
A hookah.
So apparently she did watch the podcast, though.
Yeah, and you followed her on Instagram. Did she follow back?
Mhm.
Did you message her?
I did.
So something has happened.
Nothing.
You
Did she
messaged
message
her.
back?
Yeah.
So you've been talking.
Not anymore.
Have you seen her again?
I did. But I didn't talk to her.
You sat in silence?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Kevin's like, he's like trying to pry something out of a fucking clam that doesn't want to open.
He's like, no.
Yeah,
Nothing
oyster.
happened.
Sorry, not a clam. An oyster. It's like trying to like open an oyster. And
We
get
stopped
that, like,
talking.
little
I just didn't
pearl
talk to
out.
her.
What?
We didn't talk, and I didn't talk.
When you hung out, though, you didn't say a word to her?
It was at like a party. I just saw her there.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
All
It's
right,
cool.
we're getting
Kevin had an
sidetracked.
experience with the woman. He spoke to her a little bit. Now they're done talking. It's over. No more Summer and Kevin. No more. He's all about winter now. Who gives a shit? This episode is about conspiracy theories, and we have a conspiracy theory expert by the name of Matt Real. He doesn't really like conspiracies. He only likes things that are real.
He debunks conspiracies. So, Kevin, don't fuck around with him.
No fucking around.
All right, good.
No fucking
No
around.
fucking around.
I don't know if that was an appropriate intro for Matt, but
Hey, I think that sounded good.
thanks. I hope he enjoys it when he watches this back. But we should bring him in now, right?
Yeah. Hey, Matt, get in here.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's coming in.
Hey.
He's wearing a science jacket, a science coat. You're not on camera yet. You can't take it off till you're on camera.
Where's the camera? Okay.
Go sit down next to Kevin.
Hi.
How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Shake his hand.
Hey,
Yeah.
Matt.
Hi.
Kevin, this is a real
See
scientist.
ya.
You treat him with respect, okay?
Okay.
Jack told me to wear this.
So you're not a real scientist.
No, he is. He studied for 12 years in conspiracy college.
Well, I'm not going to wear this because it looks so stupid.
All right, he's taking off the lab coat.
I mean, it's not even a lab coat. It's like a.
It's a painter's
dumbass
jacket.
I don't even think it's like.
It's a doctor coat.
I don't even think it's like graded for any type of work like that. Anyway,
Just a classy attire.
Matt's a pro at debunking conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I think people make claims and they say things, and then there's not really too much tasking of like, is what you said actually true? And like, it's big on TikTok for people to go like, this happened, and then like you could go to the comments. First comment is like, well, I know that didn't happen, so let me go. And then everyone's in the comments like, no, it didn't, but it doesn't matter because it's been said. There's a lot of box opening.
That is some terrible thing that's going on with the internet right now, because everybody has a platform to say whatever they want, and they can say whatever they want like it's a fact, and people will be like, look, this person said this and this is a fact, and then you realize that person did not do the proper research to actually make that statement whatsoever. So
Squirrels eat dogs. Who's to say I'm wrong?
me, you're wrong.
Prove it.
Unless that squirrel is rabid, infected with the zombie gene. I don't know.
I'm sure a squirrel has eaten a dog.
Exactly.
But the overgeneralization.
Jack's on to something.
I'm fucking smart, bro. Hey, let's get into some conspiracies here.
Let's hear him.
Oh, just like that. All right.
Hey, and
Wait,
you let me know if you need any graphics or anything to look up. Check out that TV right there. That is connected to my laptop, so I can get anything you need in about 14 seconds. The Wi-Fi is a little slow.
That TV right there is a $130 TV. It's the worst image you'll ever
Oh
see.
yeah. So if you need anything with like specific like color or like to look good,
Don't ask.
No way. Okay.
Hey,
for them, but in the video to look fine.
Yeah, and also Jack said, let's get into a conspiracy. I think what we want to do first is say, like, maybe how was your day? What's your background?
Yeah, how was your day?
My day was. Thank you for asking.
Of course.
My day was great. My day was wonderful.
Was it as good as your mustache?
I don't know. I actually don't feel like my mustache is. Everyone, thank you for saying something nice about the mustache. Unless you think I had a bad day, and you think the mustache
No.
is the ceiling of.
This guy
how
trying to
good-
throw some shade or
how
something,
good
huh?
My day was.
I was saying that the mustache looks spectacular. I shaved today, and I left the mustache at first. Then I shaved it off because it was unimpressive. But I think yours is quite
I
impressive.
appreciate.
How long have you had that mustache? Quite a while.
Okay, so the last time I didn't have this mustache was there was a Vine that I made because I accidentally shaved it off. April of 2013.
You've had it all that time?
Yeah, and I had it before
Damn.
then too.
Sheesh.
Damn.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years, almost a decade with that stash.
So I take you like the
That's
stash look.
insane. That's
It was,
almost
I
as
think.
long as I have been carrying this chlamydia.
Huh. I thought that's curable.
It is curable. I just leave it.
Is
Oh, you
that the
just keep it in
clap?
there?
No, the clap is gonorrhea, I believe.
Oh.
Is that curable?
Everything's curable. Okay, so the day was okay. The mustache is great.
Thank you.
And you have a background in debunking conspiracies, and you know a
Yeah.
lot about them because they interest you.
Yeah, so I actually kind of came. My conspiracy, like, kind of. It wasn't a thing that I particularly. I was. Hey, let me say. Let me figure out how to say this. I didn't do this on purpose.
Okay.
And I don't consider myself an expert. I just make a lot of videos about conspiracy theories. I was a cameraman for a bunch of stuff while we were shooting something in NASA, and while we were there, I let it slip that I was like, I'm not so certain that we landed on the moon, or at least the footage that we've seen might not be real. Right?
You said this at NASA.
Not to them.
Okay.
But I did say it to the people around me, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Conveniently, when we were at NASA, I was like, I just want to see like Apollo 11 mission control, because I'm a huge space guy. I love space.
I can get behind that.
I'm sorry it's so cramped in here.
I like space.
Well, it looks pretty big on the video.
Yeah.
Luckily, the lenses zoom out, makes it look bigger than it is. But for someone who likes space, this I'm sure is pretty cramped for you.
Well, it's fun.
And you got Kevin breathing on your neck.
I feel like you're being very respectful of my space, despite having to be in the frame.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I let it slip, and then when we got back, they were like, "Hey, you should make a video on the moon landing." And I kind of went balls to the wall and was like, "Here's what I think about the moon landing." Blah, blah, blah. And that one still, that one we can get into it, but that one still, I was like, "This is fun. This isn't hurting anybody to say, oh, we didn't land on the moon." It's a little sus. And then fast forward to like 2020, when every kind of claim is a hot take. I was like, oh, this fucking sucks, and misinformation is very bad and dangerous.
So you had to tighten up real quick.
We threw the fucking car in reverse, flipped it around, and I was like, actually, like, there's a point where conspiracy theories are fun, and there's a point where they're really unfun and dangerous.
But like hurtful to society, right?
Yeah. So I think that was kind of why I was like, let's like let's put our thinking caps back on for a second.
Dial it back a little bit.
Yeah.
So then you became the debunker.
The debunker.
But he can't debunk the moon landing, so it seems.
Well, so that's another thing about debunking, is that like there are conspiracy theories that like, oh, this is an overwhelming amount of contrary evidence, and you eventually just have to decide how you feel. Like that's kind of a lot of them. You have to decide how you feel. And
sense.
if you feel that everyone's out to get you and that everything is bad and that everybody lies to you all the time, you are more likely to go, everybody's out to get me, everything's bad all the time, everyone's lying to me. And if you want to like take that back and go, I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. You basically, everything is just confirmation bias, and you can find, maybe that's the end of the podcast, but basically everything
It's up to you, whatever you think.
It's up to you, whatever you think, honestly, yeah.
Where do you guys think that you stand on that subject? Like, personally, I think that most of the time a conspiracy theory comes along, I'm like, no, there's a logical reason for this. The same reason, like the same way that someone would be like, I totally believe in ghosts, like that light flickered, like there's definitely a spirit in this room. I'd be like, well, there's probably like a fuse that was just like not touching the fuse for a second, and the light flickered. So
you're going to say that after Garrett just dove into how he has so many ghost stories, bro? You don't believe him?
No, I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm saying in very specific instances, I'm much more of like the cat scratched the door.
Yeah.
No, there isn't like a ghost scratching at our door.
I feel the same way for like the majority of conspiracy theories I've heard. I was like, there's probably like a good logical reason, but then there's a couple I hear, I'm like, well, I have like nothing, there's no logical reason for that. Like, could be something. So
yeah,
there's a couple I've heard that I do believe.
Yeah, I kind of get like excited. I'm like, ooh, and then the more I like look into it, I'm like, I'm sure it feels like a stretch.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that like most of and again, I'm not an expert. I just have read a lot.
12 years
about
says
this.
otherwise.
Didn't get a degree though. I just went to school. And eventually they said, you have to go away. You're not paying tuition. But yeah, that's the thing, is that it's a lot of it is like surface level stuff, which is why kind of TikToks are so popular with the conspiracy stuff, is because they don't have to back anything up really. They just go, oh, this is weird, huh? And then you go, that is weird, huh? And then
Right.
you start to go look at it, you're like, oh, well, it's not that weird.
Yeah, like it's rumored that Area 51 actually held aliens, and you can see from this photo in 1950 that there was this light in the sky. Yeah. So the idea is that the aliens were here at this time, so they must have been, right?
Do you believe in aliens, Scott?
Right. Of course, man. The universe is vast.
All right, I'm just checking. 'Cause if you didn't, I'd never talk to you again.
Jackson alien.
To answer your question about ghosts, though, I've talked with a number of psychics, and I think I'm not there. Like, I'm not available.
You're not a ghost person?
I'm not a ghost person. So Jack knows this. I've shot a ghost hunting show. Like, I was a cameraman for a ghost hunting show for a number of years. And the whole time I was just like, no big deal. I didn't really notice anything.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened to me. Nothing happened that I saw was like couldn't be explained
And
away.
he was on set too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you're just going to diminish Garrett Watts and his stories like that, too.
Well, you know, I thought about this because
Sorry,
Garrett tells me things sometimes because I'm friends with Garrett. And sometimes he tells me things and I go, I don't know, man.
Speaking of ghosts and TikTok and all these things, I literally just watched one last night about the actress who was in The Conjuring, and she developed a rare blood disorder while she was filming The Conjuring, and it went away when she was done filming The Conjuring, like randomly, and it was supposed to be like a permanent thing.
Yeah. What's Joey King? Was that her name?
I think
from the kissing booth.
I think so. Wait, was it her?
I don't know what all the words you said were.
Bro, you're not a kissing booth stan? Get out of here.
I don't know, but there are some strange occurrences that happen which could be seen as conspiracies, and I don't know what is what.
Yeah.
That's spooky.
That is wild.
Could be the tectonic plates. Who knows?
Yeah. Right. Those tectonic plates always getting you.
What is that? Do you know conspiracy, man?
Well, those have nothing to do with conspiracy, but they're the plates underneath the earth where everything
I'm sure there's some conspiracy about that, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Hollow Earth.
Huh?
Hollow Earth.
I've never heard that.
That's where the Lord of the Rings live.
That's Middle Earth.
That's Middle Earth.
Right. Fuck, shit.
Some people think the Earth is hollow.
A few.
That's
what the Godzilla King Kong was about. King Kong is from the Hollow Earth.
Oh, and some people think that's legit.
Well, that's based on the...
What, did he just come out of the ground?
Essentially, there's portals to another, like, basically, and we might need to pick which ones we talk about. But if we want to
gets deep here.
If we want to run through some of them, I basically the idea is that on Earth there are portals at the North or South Pole. Or like I think possibly in South America where you can go and if you find it, you can enter a different world which actually exists inside of the Earth that we live on. But they're living on a kind of different plane, but we're still around them, but they have their own atmospheres. And basically you go down, if you were here, you jump down and then you just flip around and you'd be right side up.
And this is only in South America.
Or
there's portals all over the world.
Oh, okay.
I think a man thought the one was in Alaska.
Okay.
Gotcha. So I'm trying to make sense of it. So you're saying it's kind of like an...
Don't do that.
No. I'm saying as far as the theory goes, like if I was to dig straight down into where the hollow earth is without going through the right portal, I'd just be in a pile of dirt in earth, right? But if I was...
you have to go through a portal.
You got to go through the portal. Yeah.
It's like...
No one's found them though, huh?
They've been looking.
Well, they're there.
Okay. How do you open the portal?
How do they film those movies there if they don't exist?
That's why we don't know.
Yeah, like Jurassic Park.
Well, that was a fictional film.
And also,
Come on, Jack.
Dude.
That also was not even in the hollow earth.
But
that
how'd they
was
get
on
those
an island.
dinosaurs, dude?
You're not even trying.
Conspiracy theory.
How'd they get this? That was just a question.
How'd they get those dinosaurs in the movie, bro? They go back in time?
It's called CGI.
Yeah.
Animatronics.
What does CGI stand for?
Colored graphics images.
Ooh. That was a good guess.
Computer generated.
Computer generated, I think.
Yeah.
That's a better guess.
But you can't just ask a question and go, conspiracy theory.
Why not?
I think most conspiracy theories have to posit something.
All right, so maybe we should try to get on the topic of let's dive into one or two or three or
Give
four.
us a zinger.
So we can talk a little bit about, if you want to talk a little bit about the moon landing, we can talk a little bit about the moon landing and why people don't think why that one's raising so many questions. There's a number of them. My favorite one, I can talk about my favorite one now, or we can talk about it later.
Let's start with the moon landing.
I'm interested
Then
in moon
dive
landing.
into your fave. Kevin knows what he wants.
I want to hear about the moon landing. I want to hear about it.
So I mean, the main tenets of the moon landing that we've never been there, or that if we have been there, we've gone later and it wasn't filmed. And the film that you see,
Because a lot of people think the film is fake, right?
yes, a lot of people. I think it's like a quarter of Americans.
Really?
I don't know.
And you're one of them.
You don't believe it?
I'm one who has questions.
So you're on the fence.
I could see because
I feel like I'm on the fence.
The film does look like weird, but like at the same time, it was filmed a long time ago, so it's easy to believe. Like, I guess either way, right?
Well, there's a lot of basically what you're saying is it looks weird, and it's very convenient that we were able to do that without a hitch.
Right.
Yeah. Like, how the hell? What year was it?
1969.
How the hell did we get signal from space
Signal.
to put it on TV?
Well, yeah, it was satellite. It was live feeds. Boom, like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, anything that happens in
Like,
the
do
year
we even have
69
color television?
or
yet?
anything to do with that number is usually like a lucky thing. So that's probably what happened.
Oh yeah, it was just lucky that.
Oh, they got lucky.
Maybe.
Do we have color TV then?
Yes. I
They
don't
also-
know, actually.
Conspiracy?
They would also color
It's not.
things. They would color things in after
That's true.
taking film.
Oh.
That is true. No, yeah, I've seen color. Well, I've seen color footage of the moon landing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when
they
they
got
when they
color
landed on
footage
the
up
moon,
on the moon.
when they landed on the moon, it was broadcasted live.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Who put the fucking camera on the moon? Conspiracy.
Well, they took it with them.
But didn't they film his first steps?
That's a good question.
I never
I
got
don't
this
know
far.
if they filmed the first step. So the other problem is that we have all this footage, but it was a lot of what we see from the moon landing is from a compilation that was made later.
It's not like the full
It wasn't
thing.
the live feed.
Right.
Oh, so they could have nixed some stuff that they don't want the public to see and analyze. So
They
it's
could
not-
have nixed some stuff that they didn't want the public to see and analyze, or they could have just used other footage that they made that was easier to make.
So no one has like the whole live feed.
I don't know if there's probably not a VHS tape somewhere.
Yeah, we got to find that dude.
Yeah, it's but anyway, the main kind of tenets of the moon landing conspiracy is that it was just so convenient.
Well, because also I've seen like people always said like we were in a space race to get there first, so they faked it because they wanted to be there first.
Yes.
Like we could get there, but they just made the video just to like win. Essentially.
Yeah, so there was like there's a radiation belt that they couldn't possibly figure out how to get people through. The Russians were also doing this and killing astronauts in the process.
Just sending people up there.
Just good luck.
Is that
Oops.
fact or conspiracy?
That's a fact.
Oh,
There's a thing if you want to look more into it, it's called the Lost Cosmonauts. There's also claims that someone in Russia kind of was messing around with a radio and overheard the live launch in Russia, and it was just like exploded, and so there's all sorts of stuff. Basically, we were in a space race, like Kevin's saying. We were in a space race, and it didn't look very good. It didn't look like we were going to make it.
No, yeah, because we were super far behind, right?
Very far behind. The first human in space, I believe, was Yuri Gagarin, who was Russian.
damn! They beat us to space.
They did beat us to
They
space.
did.
They did beat us to space.
Rats.
Yeah.
Well, who makes better movies, Hollywood or Russia? Because it looks like that's what we wanted. We made a movie and we had someone put our flag in a fake
Scott's
moon.
onto
That's a
something.
good point.
Whoa.
That's a good point. Well, people do think Stanley Kubrick made the film, and he's in America, but he was operating in London at the time.
I thought there was a whole plan for people to build on the moon so that there would be another place humans could go when the Earth ran out
think
of
that's
resources.
Mars.
Yeah, I think that's what we're
They
thinking
found
about
water on Mars, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were going to build like eco biodomes and a little space station on the moon as well.
That would be fun.
I mean, it's closer.
That was an idea, I think.
Okay.
It is closer.
I mean, it's like going to Mexico. It's right here next to California versus a 6-hour flight to Hawaii.
Right.
And Hawaii is Mars.
Hawaii is Mars, and Mexico's the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's
Perfect
a
analogy.
4-day flight and a 5-day flight?
But that's not true.
Nothing.
What's the time difference?
I think it's like
A year.
I think it's like 3 days to the moon. I don't know.
It's light years.
This is that might be way wrong. And I think to the Mars it's like a month.
Wow.
We haven't landed someone on Mars, have we?
No,
No.
we just landed a rover.
Yeah.
You looked up. Can you please share what you just did?
How long does it take to get to the
Can
moon?
you please share what you just did?
It only takes 36 minutes by car.
36 minutes on
moon.
Highland Ave.
Wow.
Where are we going?
3 days.
3 days, yeah.
Oh God! Thank God I said something that ended up being true. And then to Mars, I think, a couple months, 7 months.
7 months.
Yeah.
Holy guacamole.
Well, the reason is because Mars, like the straight shot is I think shorter, but Mars is actually like it moves around, so you got to like really pinpoint when you're gonna leave and where it's gonna be. You got to figure out where it's gonna be in 7 months.
You better be on first class for that one for 7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in
Bring your charger.
You don't want you don't want a business class ticket to
Oh.
Mars.
No way.
Try coach.
All right, back to the moon. What are the specifics?
All right, so it comes down to motive. We were in a space race. It comes down to a lot of evidence that we were just not doing well in the space race. There also were 3 astronauts that were killed, American astronauts that were killed in the process of in the Apollo mission. The Apollo 1, there was Gus Grissom, Roger Chaffee, and Ed White. They were very publicly critical of the space of the America's ability to get to the moon. There's a photo. You can actually pull this photo up.
Sure.
I couldn't use this in BuzzFeed because of rights at the time, but there's a
We
photo.
don't give a fuck about that.
Gus Grissom praying. Search that. Sorry to put my hand in your face.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. So this is a photo of them praying around. This is the 3 from the Apollo 1 mission. These were the original. They were supposed to be on the moon. They took this photo.
Jeez, they're just praying they make it.
They're praying on a module, right? This is like their commentary on like it's not looking good here.
Mm-hmm.
These people don't know what they're doing, and so it was very political. NASA and the government did not like that. This is what they were putting out. This is like the kind of we don't know if we're gonna make it. This is a little sketch, you know.
Oh, they released it on their own.
I mean, I believe so. I don't know for a fact, but they were clearly not. They didn't have a lot of confidence.
Well, America wanted to look tough, right? So they see their guys that are supposed to be winning the space race being like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this, and then it causes more fear in the American people. So
Exactly. Anyway, so Apollo 1 mission goes. They go off. They start. I think it was a training mission. Cabin fills with flames, explode. All 3 of those people die.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Those 3 guys died?
all of them.
Wow.
I was in school a long time ago, so I can't remember this exactly, but there was a movie that we watched in, I think, middle school called Apollo 1 or the Apollo 2, right? Isn't that like...
There's Apollo 13
Apollo 13. That's the
Tom
movie
Hanks?
that we watched.
with Tom Hanks.
And I think it went through some of...
I believe so.
Oh, really?
Stuff.
Or The Right Stuff also goes through this, I believe.
Which one's the one that blew up on takeoff? Was that this one?
No, that was one of the later ones.
Was that going to the moon or was that just space?
I think that was just space.
Oh, okay.
I think they stopped trying to go to the moon after like 1973 or something like that.
Damn.
Either way, I'll try and make this quick because I do want to get to my favorite one. This happened. Then they finally, this was when was the Apollo 1? 1966. So 3 years later, they make it to the moon.
Huh.
They were having fires and they were accidentally killing astronauts. 3 years later, they sent somebody to the moon.
Hey, we got to the
Yeah,
moon.
because that's like the biggest thing I've seen is we were so far behind and we weren't like there was no like record or like that I've seen that we
No
were like
clear
doing
success,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, there was no like success or anything. And then out of nowhere it was like, oh, we did it.
They're like, hey guys, no, we got it.
Right.
Believe it.
Yeah. So, and then like there's a lot of people who go like, well, if you look at the footage, like this is weird. Like you said, the footage looks funny.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it could be slow-mo. It looks like this. The shadows are weird, and like there's a lot of that stuff can be explained away.
Any that can't of the footage? Isn't there one about crosshairs?
Yeah, well, there's like, but that can be explained away by like just the basic tenets of.
It was 1969. We didn't know what we were doing with the camera.
And we didn't know what we were doing with a fucking spaceship to the moon either.
That's the one where I'm like, okay, if I need to get on board with this, that's basically it. Is like, if I need to get on board with like this war against misinformation, I'm gonna quiet down about the moon landing. Yeah. I'm not gonna say I believe that we landed on the moon. I'm just not gonna go off all the time about the moon landing.
So now I'm so intrigued. I completely was on the side of, all right, we made it to the moon, but what you're telling me is that we've never been on the moon since then?
So we went, I think, 2 or 3 times. Once more in once or twice more. Once in 1973. I think it may have been twice. Maybe you can confirm that. I don't know. But that was it.
And was the 1973 one like confirmed as we actually did get to the moon and land on it?
There's footage of it.
And
so there's all of the footage from the moon landing is like 10 frames per second, which is why it looks weird and funny. Mm-hmm. But I think there's the frame, like the footage is regular 30 frames per second from like the later missions, mm-hmm. which that looks even more weird because it's like, because you can kind of go, oh, that was so long ago. I'm not like, I was not alive then. But when you see it kind of looking more modern, it's like, oh, that's
it looks more fake.
Truly weird. It's up to you.
So people that don't believe the moon landing, they don't think we've ever been.
Well, like I said, you could be on the side of like, we didn't go then and later we went there to like maybe plant a flag or something like that, or like kind of recreate what we did before.
I feel like I'm on the side of like the original one is fake, but we have been to the moon after.
Yeah, because can we see if we get a real good telescope, can we see the flag? Didn't people say that?
No, you can't.
I thought we could.
I Google it.
A real good telescope, huh?
My understanding is that with our best telescope in the world, they cannot produce footage or a photo of the moon landing, which is another that's weird. But maybe that's not true.
Maybe it blew over.
Clearly, I'm not an expert.
There's no wind.
Clearly.
Yes, there's no wind on the moon, Kevin.
I never say that.
It says yes, the flag is still on the moon, but you can't see it using a telescope. Then how the fuck am I supposed to trust you?
I mean, that's truly wild.
They're like, yeah, it's there. Don't ask us to prove it.
I doubt anyone would be able to see a little flag if we put it on the roof here of this building and like.
Yeah, but they got fucking telescopes going to Jupiter.
I mean, we are taking photos of other planets.
True, but it's like
this big.
I mean, there's very high resolution photos of like the surface of parts of planets too, right? So
yeah. Oh, I didn't come here to But yeah, every time I talk about it, I go, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. It's a weird one. And the other thing is that like you're taking into account that was 50 years ago. We know the government was sus as heck back then.
Yeah,
they've done a lot worse since. Like the idea that we go and we conquer this for all mankind, and we put a plaque on there and say like, oh, for peace and love or whatever. I don't know, whatever the hell it says. And
America
then we just come back down and light each other up.
Well, yeah, it's such an interesting thing to me because I could totally see it being fake just because we wanted to win the arms race or whatever. Mm-hmm. Was it a space race or was it called the arms race?
There was an arms race and there was a space race, and the space race happened at the same time.
Gotcha.
Because there was like still Cold War era, mm-hmm. right? We were also fight, but that was like that was like a political win. Like, oh, look what we can do. Mm-hmm. If you're afraid of us having nuclear weapons, we're afraid of you having nuclear weapons.
There was definitely like a lot of motive behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could totally see the first one being fake. I could also see us landing 4 years later and being like, okay, now we actually did it, so we can say that we actually went to the moon.
Yeah.
And I could totally understand why we wouldn't be spending $1.6 billion to launch another rocket to the moon when, everyone is worried where their tax money is going all the time.
And they had the technology in the 60s to fake it, right?
Well, that's that. So now we can get into like how that's debunked. If you want to say that that's debunked, is that there is a lot of people say we couldn't have faked it because of the way that like just photography and the way that film worked at the time. Could we even slow mode at the time? Mm-hmm. It's hard to know. Or it's not hard to know. It's very easy to know. But they say it's we couldn't have cranked footage that way or to make it look like we were jumping, or if you speed it up, it's.
But my point to that is if we didn't have the film capabilities to fake it, but we had the capabilities to do it for real, that's a weird technology jump. Like, oh, our cameras can't fake it, but we can have a camera on the moon.
It's not what people were focused on. They weren't focused on faking stuff on
Yeah,
camera.
Jack, you're always thinking about the
They were
fake
focused
stuff.
on sending a rocket to space.
Little sus.
It is a little sus that we possibly didn't have the technology to film it then, but did have it to go, and now we have the technology to fake it and can't go or won't go, whatever.
I mean, my Twitch live stream goes out like 45 minutes into a stream, and they were able to live stream from the moon.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Is that there's 3-4 phones in this room. Mine's outside. 3.
Yeah.
That had the are much more powerful than the computers that sent us to the moon, and those are unreliable.
Oh yeah, if I'm on an airplane, I can't get signal, but from the fucking moon.
I mean,
That actually blows my mind that they were broadcasting it.
Yeah.
right.
Pretty
I can't
sus.
even connect to my AirPods if they're in the other room.
Right.
But anyway, again, it comes down to like you can find evidence that debunks it, and you can say, well, that one specifically, you can find evidence either or, whichever you want to believe.
Both
you
sides.
will be able to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a good amount of evidence on both sides, so it's like you can't really say for sure.
Yeah, I mean you can, but you don't know.
But as fact,
because you didn't go.
that's true.
And for the same thing, if I go, oh, we didn't land on the moon, someone goes, you don't know, and I don't know.
Wasn't there
I didn't
something
go.
fishy about Buzz Aldrin or something?
Oh my gosh. I couldn't say this on the BuzzFeed video because we didn't have the rights to it. But this is where I become crazy. There's a film called Fly Me to the Moon. I think it's called Fly Me to the Moon. It's about this bug
Okay.
who goes, he's like a fly who wants to be an astronaut. It's an animated film. I can't remember why I was watching it. I think I watched it in Garrett's house one time.
Sounds right.
But at the end of the movie, like obviously the fly gets sent to space. Of
course.
He hides in the Apollo 11 mission, goes to space, comes back. At the end of the movie, they stop the movie, and Buzz Aldrin, he was like 75 or
The real Buzz Aldrin.
the
not
real Buzz
animated?
Aldrin
Okay.
walks out like in front of the movie, a green screen, and he goes, "Despite what you think you may have seen or thought you might have heard, there were no contaminants in the Apollo 11 mission. A bug could not have made it there." And I'm like, that was to me like, buddy, who thinks that's real? You must be hiding something.
Yeah.
Because that's sus as hell.
The idea of a contaminant of a fly not being able to make it there, but a human being able to make it there, like what keeps a fly from being out of the...
I mean, I guess their little lungs. Do flies have lungs?
Sure.
They probably couldn't survive. I don't know. But I'm like, nobody thinks this part is...
Yeah, it seems
Right.
like the government saw the movie. It's like, all right, let's grab Buzz. We got to clear some things up so people don't get suspicious and start asking more questions.
And there's footage of Buzz Aldrin punching a man who called him a liar. My thing is that there's more than enough footage of Buzz Aldrin getting really mad about people going, "Oh, you didn't go to the moon." But like, if I had been in the moon, I'd be like, fuck
Yeah.
off.
Be like, okay, I
Who the
saw
fuck
it.
is Buzz Aldrin? I thought it was Lance Armstrong that went to the moon.
Bro.
Haha, just kidding. That's the guy with one nut.
I was trying to think.
Wait, then which one's Louis Armstrong?
Oh, fuck. Lance Bass, Louis Armstrong.
Lance Bass from Gossip Girl.
Wasn't Lance Bass like part of... Wasn't he like involved in some NASA thing? I don't know.
Lance, the character from Gossip Girl.
That's Chuck Bass.
Who's Lance Bass from Backstreet Boys?
In sync.
In Sync.
All right, everyone.
Wait,
This
so which guy went
podcast
to
is not to be
space?
trusted for any
Neil-
information.
Neil
That's for
Armstrong.
sure. Neil Armstrong.
Okay, he's the one who took the first steps, but Buzz Aldrin was with him.
Buzz Aldrin was the second man on the moon.
Damn.
And you got to be real hot about that.
Yeah, imagine being second.
Is Neil still alive?
No, Neil's passed on, and I think Buzz has passed on.
Oh.
Maybe not.
But not until after the Fly movie came out.
No, he
Yeah.
got his say there.
And their secrets. And their secrets with him.
You might want to confirm he might be still alive.
Yeah, imagine he's publicly said like it's not real.
yeah, we pull it up. But I've had people lie on me in the comments about things, or say like, "Oh, I said something that I didn't say," or I knew something was true that they said I got wrong or whatever. And like, I guess it's frustrating, but like on something on the level of like I've been to the moon, I'd be like, your opinion doesn't matter. I've been to the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you don't.
Oh, he's still alive.
It's
92.
92.
Why don't they just ask him
The
if he's been to
government's
the moon?
pumping him with fluids to make sure he doesn't.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Well, we could just ask him if he's been there.
Let's call him up.
Hey, you got his number, Scott?
What?
You got his number?
I don't, but apparently if you ask him, he's gonna tell you, "Yeah, fucking went to the moon, idiot,"
and then hit
he'll
you.
beat your ass.
Look at this article.
He will
7 hours ago. Some TV coverage of the 1969 moon landing was animated, but that doesn't mean it was fake.
Ooh.
Why are they animating shit then, huh?
That
Make
is
it
weird.
look pretty.
That is weird. I can't believe I'm about to come on here and only talk about conspiracies that I actually might think are true.
Oh, is your favorite one you also might think is true?
Well, my favorite one's the simulation one.
Oh.
The article that we just saw that said some of it was animated. I mean, I can't think of the live whatever. I'm sure I've seen it before, but like they obviously didn't have a camera on the thing, so they might have like done a little landing or whatever, like as the animation. Yeah.
I like this your attitude of like, well, let me hang on.
I also
I think that's how you honestly should be, and that's kind of how I've been more. Like I've honestly like jumped so far on the other side where it's like, well, I know how you could become susceptible to that kind of information and then using that to make your opinion. So I think you really do have to very often go, well, hang on.
Yeah.
I also like that I read the title and just went with it and didn't want to read the article itself. That's probably a big problem with people,
man.
people on TikTok. They just read it and
You
they're
read the title and go,
I'm not going to fully read the article, but you think I got time for that shit?
I ain't got
So
time for that.
much misdirection in titles. Like I was even watching a Grey's Anatomy episode yesterday, which is, we don't have to get into it, but the title of the article was one thing. The rest of it was completely about not what the title said. It's just clickbait.
Yeah.
All right. So what's everyone's consensus now of the moon landing? Kevin?
I believe like it could be fake. I don't know, but I do believe we've been to the moon afterwards. I think the initial video.
What
is
percentage of you thinks the first moon landing was fake? Like, are you 50-50? Are you 70 fake, 30 real?
I'd say I'm like 70% it's real.
70% is real. Okay. So you're leaning
I'm more
real.
on the side of it's real, yeah.
Okay, Matt?
I really think I'm 50-50. And I think that's mostly just an indifference.
I feel like I'm like 60-40. Because
60 for what? Real?
60 for it being fake.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't have to say which one because I said 50-50.
Yeah, that's smart. You're smart. I don't know. I just feel like it's very convenient, and I could also see it. But I'm like, it might be real.
Yeah.
I'm definitely just 50-50, same as you, is kind of like an indifference where it's like, okay, if it happened, it happened. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. It's not going to change anything now. If they did make it afterwards, like, how are they going to disprove it or approve it now? Like,
there's certainly enough evidence that the government lies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
it's not like it changes anything.
Yeah.
Like one way or the other. Like short of actually landing on the moon myself and seeing, oh, it is here. But that doesn't tell me that footage was real.
Right.
So it's like, I will never know.
What is the only possible way that we could ever know? Is there some files locked away in the White House that documents this that are like nobody can access it, but one president has access to it and he's like, you know what, I'm going to burn this place down. I'm going to tell everyone all the truths that haven't been told. Yes, it was fake. I have the documents from 1969. It didn't actually happen. There, your conspiracy theory was right.
Yeah,
like,
I think
that's the only way that we could possibly.
Yeah, we could only prove it was faked.
Yeah. It's impossible to prove it's real.
Right.
Yeah. You will always have to just take somebody else's word for it. And so that's when you have to decide what world do I want to live in?
Yeah.
And that's why people will decide there's sex cults and like, there are sex cults, but like, that's why people think that all of the politicians are like sucking blood and eating babies and stuff like that, because they've decided this is the world that I want to live in. Thinking that exists make me feel better.
Yeah, it's like I decided to believe this, so that is my belief, and that is the way that the world is.
Exactly.
And then there's also something to be said about journalism reporting and stuff like that, right? There's people with a first-hand view of it. Then there's third-person journalism, right? Where it's like you're reporting on the findings that someone else already found. So you're kind of like going down this line of like.
I think it's like more and more muddled as you go down, right?
Yeah, it's like telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game never turns out perfect.
All right. Well,
great analogy. Very good.
Yeah.
You nailed one.
Hey, let's dive into Matt's favorite conspiracy.
I'm excited for this one. I want to
So
hear.
is this one you believe?
Well, it's another one of those where like
You can't say.
I can't say. It's actually not even a conspiracy theory. Maybe it's one of the more. It's the idea that we are living in a simulation.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Oof.
No one's high, right?
No.
No.
High on life, baby.
Great.
Why? Because this will fuck you up.
It might. Might fuck you up anyway.
I've been fucked up for a long time. Hit me.
Yeah, I know like the basics of it, but I've never like dived deep into like why it could be true or
You've
like
never like thought about it for
the
hours.
semantics of it.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. But my favorite of all time is that we are living in my favorite of all time is the idea that we're living in a simulation, and I really don't know. And sometimes with the way that life is, it feels like, we have to be. This is so freaking weird.
Yeah.
So does it have anything to do with the idea that like person could be perceiving, like I could be perceiving this room and what's happening in it differently than you sitting next to me perceiving this room and what's happening?
Possibly, but I think mostly it's just that like none of this is real at all.
So what's like a brief rundown for people that might not know?
So this honestly, like the Matrix beat everyone to this. Like there is like I think it was a physicist who put out a paper or like an essay that posited like the first one is that we will be dead before anyone could ever create these simulations. The second is that our ancestors would not have any interest in running computer simulations. And the third is that we are, without a doubt, absolutely in a simulation. And one of the three must be true.
Right.
So
I feel like us saying our ancestors would not be interested in a simulation seems a little, I feel like that can't be true because we already are.
right. Yeah. So, but it would have the technology, would have the reason to do it. Because there's a number of reasons that you wouldn't want to run a simulation, as though like, so say for example, I know that robots feel, or I know that my Sims, so to speak, they have emotions and they're like I'm hurting them, right? Obviously, we don't care about that. Now.
Basically, a simulation is we're in like Sims,
right? Yeah,
just very advanced Sims.
Very, very, very advanced Sims. Because the idea is that human consciousness, or our consciousness, is human, but consciousness can happen given the right kind of like microcosm, it could exist anywhere. Like it could potentially, like our brains are no different than like computers. Like it's almost like same way where it's like electric waves going through our brains and our neurosystems. Could exactly be the same thing, but on a silicone-based like computer chip.
So do they think, is it like, are they saying that this is like a simulation, like one person is running or like a group of people are running, or like what's the like sort of logistics of that?
The idea is that yes, possibly. It's very unlikely that we are somebody's Sims, right? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's not like, some like 12-year-old girls like, they're making this podcast.
Yeah, fucking around with some gay.
I hope not. This would be a very unimaginative person to come up with me. But like it's more so that maybe our ancestors are like, perhaps like the sun is crashing into the earth, or like an asteroid is coming, right? And they need to come up with a solution, but they cannot. So they are running simulations in order to go, would they be able to fix this? How would they do that? Which we know humans do. Like we do run like, well, if this happened, would this happen?
That's interesting. It is interesting though, because that does give like a motive of why we would run simulations, right?
Yeah.
If we ever wanted.
So it would be like a government or like group of people trying to like save the world. That's like one of the possibilities that people think.
It's just to see like what did they like, how would they come up with a solution for it? And like if technology advances, you could potentially see that happening where let's go back to, and like how like with save points on video games, you can go back to go like did I make the mistake there, or did I make the mistake before that? So when you're like save scumming in video games, you can go, oh, I'm about to do something dumb, so I'm going to save it before I make a mistake.
Yeah,
so
my mind is already melting.
Yeah. So in that case, there's probably other simulations of us doing a different route.
Yep.
Which could be like,
we are one of the thousands, millions.
So then that could explain like parallel universe and like
the
multiverse and stuff.
It's like Doctor Strange saying that he's run the
Exactly.
possibility of the outcome
Exactly.
999,000 times, and only one of those times there is a solution. So which one are we in? Which
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Hopefully we're in the winner.
Hopefully in the what?
Hopefully we're in the winner.
We're the
We're
winners.
the winning solution. That'd be nice.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But the way the world's going, it doesn't seem like we're really winning.
We're not
right
winning.
now.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, when our scientists are going like, maybe like 30, 40 years left. I'm not certain that we're the ones who come up with the idea.
You're gonna start running simulations to find out how to get out of it.
Exactly. So so like maybe, based on everything that we know, we've run everything from 1900, right? And everybody's, grandparents or great grandparents, they all, get together on paper, and then it keeps happening, and like maybe we are popping up in that, route, or maybe we don't pop up in the other routes. It's just like that. It's just like, and you have to imagine that if you could run these simulations, the simulations themselves would probably, at least some of them, come to the conclusions that they need to run simulations as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
And it
how
goes-
fucking whack would that be?
And so on and so
if
forth.
simulations
they made a
creates-
simulation to figure out like what's going wrong, and then those simulations start to see things go wrong, and they're trying to run simulations to try and get out of their stuff.
This is like a really intriguing one. The whole,
Yeah, my mind is melting.
This
already.
is why it's my favorite one.
It's
Because it's like, again, ultimately, it doesn't matter. You got to do it.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say,
it could mean everything.
Right.
It like doesn't matter, because if your consciousness is here living in this simulation and you feel real and everything seems real to you, then this is a real thing, regardless of whether or not it's a simulation, right? So
Right.
in the end of things, like, simulation doesn't matter if you're living in one, because your consciousness is believing that
Right.
that hurts.
Yeah.
And
It's all I got.
Yeah,
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right.
Knowing it, I could see how it kind of like stresses some people out, but like
I think
it
it's
doesn't
just
really
interesting.
change anything.
Yeah.
Unless in like 2 years, a big like computer screen comes in the sky and goes, "Your simulation.
Yeah, we're
gonna
turning you
delete
off."
right now."
I don't even think
Then
that
I'd
would
be like,
happen.
"Fuck."
Yeah, they wouldn't tell us.
If they figured out which simulation was correct, then they could just unplug and you just
Yeah.
right, and then we go back to being our regular selves in the other one.
Well, it is interesting though,
Whatever it
because
is.
like you see like all the AI simulations nowadays, like it's getting more advanced where like they run it over and over again until it, like figures out like the best optimal way to do it.
Exactly.
Like eventually, like it would get to the point where they could run like large scale. Like obviously, I've not to the scale that we're at now, but like it would be interesting. Like if you ever got there, like in 1,000 years, that you could run like a world simulation.
Yeah.
Right.
How many years do they think it is? Is
Well,
there any like speculation on that?
How many years do they think what is?
How many years ahead do they think like
Oh,
The
it's
people
like
running the simulation.
remarkably close.
like
we're-
100
Really?
years?
Yeah, well, yeah, like maybe, honestly, maybe less. Because if you think about where technology was 122 years ago, the turn of the century, 1900,
Yeah.
what technology we had? We were just like, we got this thing called steam.
Sticks and rocks.
Where we are, well, I think we're a little past sticks and rocks.
But not that much.
He's like, they just made fire.
But honestly, not that much.
Right.
Because if you think about if you go back to the beginning of man or whatever, which was a couple million years ago,
Down
Yeah.
200.
everything that we are documenting has happened in the last 2,000 years, right? Technology is exponential, right? So we had the Industrial Revolution like 200 years ago, maybe less than, and now we got steam, we got we have all of these kind of, oh look, we're able to shoot movies now. Look at this. Oh wow. Oh, we got to meet cell phones. That was like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And now you have your phone has more power than the computer that sent us to the moon.
Yeah, I think the idea of a simulation being ran sometime very soon is so possible, because you could probably have a computer run a computer game better than any little girl could play Sims, or anybody
Yeah.
could play
Right.
Sims, right? You could have a whole world like if you build that into the system and have a computer run through every possible scenario where it starts with this person, that person, this person, like with a big enough supercomputer, I feel like that is very possible, like right now almost.
Yeah.
Think about video games where they started. Like Elon Musk has said this. We had Pong. That was like 40 some years ago. Mm-hmm. And now we have hyper realistic 3D virtual reality simulations. Yeah. Right. So in 20, 30, 40 years, how far advanced are we going to be? We do run simulations. Like Disneyland they run thousands and thousands of simulations to see, if we put a food stand here, what's going to happen to everybody here? Right. So like, just give those things emotions, and boom.
Damn.
Playing like the other side of the coin, though, what's to say that we are not the ones that are the original, and like our first simulation is like the simulation
we're going to be the ones to do it? Yeah. So the idea that we're base reality is like just statistically very low.
Really?
I mean, yeah, if you think about it, the second we run a simulation, how many more simulated realities are there than our base reality? Exponential, thousands, millions, right?
So we could be like the 50th simulation in a simulation, creating like simulations.
Yeah, exactly. We could be like just down the branches of them, right?
It's crazy to think about.
So,
I can't even finish my family tree up to past my grandpa. Fucking lots of the grandpas. I love the references to like, all right, every time there's a glitch in the simulation, there's a deja vu. You'll see a cat like that you thought you just saw. I love that idea, but like deja vu is usually something that's like, I remember that something like that happened a while ago, but your brain is like, it's almost Mandela infecting you into thinking like, that just happened.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But you're kind of being reminded of, I remember when my cat did that like a week ago or something.
Yeah. We have no clue what deja vu is. Like we have ideas, but I studied that as well.
Deja vu?
Mm-hmm.
If deja vu has anything to do with the simulation, then I haven't researched this at all, but it reminded me of like if you lag a little bit in a video game and you're like walking forward and then all of a sudden you're like back in the spot in the beginning.
Yeah.
That would be like the deja vu is like you're going back to that other point.
Geez, Scott, you've had great analogies today.
Yeah, you're nailing it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You got your thinking cap on.
You're a smart little
This stuff intrigues me. I'm very interested in
Isn't it fascinating? Isn't it wild?
Yeah.
I love it.
I think about that shit all the time, but like I never get like too far into it.
It is crazy how
my mind starts.
You get freaked out.
How that stuff just like hurts your head. Like
it does. It starts to hurt your head.
How big space is, I'm like,
oh yeah.
If I get too deep into any of that sort of thing, like if I'm laying in bed, like wondering like how far is space and stuff like that, then I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter really, right?
Eventually, I always get to the point where I'm like, well, I can't do anything.
That's interesting. So do you have like, now that we've gone over your favorite and the moon landing, is there like 5 well-known conspiracy theories that you could just like debunk rapid fire?
Well, the rapid fire debunking is kind of tough because when you debunk a conspiracy, you want to come at it from all sides, right? You want to be like, bah, 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 bah. I want to make sure this has nowhere to go.
Give us one good one that you can debunk with a lot of points.
What I was going to say is maybe it's more of like this is a popular conspiracy theory, but it has been proven false. Here's like 1 or 2 things.
There, obviously, JFK was the president who was assassinated, right? And that's a very popular conspiracy theory.
Obviously, I knew that.
One of the things that like everyone goes, I can't. There's footage of a man with an umbrella on the day. I don't know if you're familiar with this at all.
I am familiar.
He's a man fully in black, wearing holding a black umbrella, and that was a huge like part of that conspiracy theory for such a long time.
Because it was sunny out?
Because it was sunny out. And they're like, why did this man have an umbrella? Well, that went on for however long, and they tracked the guy down. And they asked him. They said, hey, this is you, right? You were here with an umbrella? And he goes, yeah, I showed up there because I knew the president was going to be there. And I was protesting. I can't remember what he was protesting, but he was protesting it with a black umbrella. Right. So they found the guy and he said, here's why. And like but that to me is like, there's always an explanation for the weird shit. Right. Like that one is my favorite because it's like, he had his own reasons for that. And we now know it. And sometimes we just don't know it.
Yeah.
But there's almost always an explanation to like the weirdest parts of that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the time you just can't go walk up and ask the guy that was there.
Right.
But for years, there was people making up assumptions and creating a narrative that this person
Like the
was
magic bullet and
doing
shit.
something that he wasn't doing for years because they couldn't just directly ask him until they tracked
They
him
just
down.
go, that's so weird. And
it has to be him.
Yeah. And then it was weird because he made it weird. He intentionally wanted to do a weird thing. So, like, there you go. You can do that all the time. Anytime you want. You can go, oh, that's just, that I want to be weird. But basically, it's just, it's mostly just that is my favorite because there's always an explanation for almost always everything. But to answer your question, no, I don't have one. I'm trying to think of the ones. Let me rattle off like the ones that I've
Flat
studied.
Earth. Is that pretty easy?
Flat Earth is very easy. Flat Earth is probably the easiest one to debunk.
Why?
So
Because we've been to the moon and we've seen the Earth. It's circular.
Well, I might whoa. Slow it down.
yeah, but exactly, it's like Flat Earth. You can see the curvature of the Earth, but that is a great one because you go, well, have you seen those photos? Like the question is, how do you know that it's curved? And it's like, well, I've seen footage or photos that it's curved. And they go, well, you got to trust someone else then for that, right? There's no way you didn't see it yourself.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, really, if we're going to pull that thread everywhere, then I don't want to go outside at all.
I've seen this video, and it was them doing some sort of like vision test where they're like, well, if we look through this and go this far away, it should not be like lined up if the Earth is curved. We're like, we think it's flat, so we're going to be able to see this all the way to that point.
Right.
And then they like did it, and they're like, oh, I don't see it.
Yeah, they proved themselves wrong.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I haven't seen that. Yeah. But that was one of the early Flat Earth tests, is that this guy was like, I'm gonna get on a boat and I'm gonna go this far away, and you look at me, and you shouldn't be able to see me if the Earth is or if the Earth is round.
Because I'm gonna fall. Wait, it's round.
Because I'm gonna fall off the Earth.
I thought he was trying to prove that it was flat. He's like, when you can't see me, that means I fell off.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can also like, I guess I haven't done it, but I've seen like YouTube videos, and people will get a GoPro and they'll get a fucking weather balloon, and you're able to send it up to space, and then it comes down on like a parachute. You have a tracking device, and like you can watch the footage, and like that stuff shows that it's a curved, round Earth as well.
Yeah, you got to get pretty far out before things start to look curved, but we can just take someone.
But the weather balloon, I think, gets up to like where you can see the roundness of it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, why don't they just give that a shot and fucking?
Well, there was a guy who, unfortunately, and I lowered my voice because he's dead now, but he was like a big flat Earth guy, and he was like, I'm going to shoot myself off in a rocket. I'm going to see myself. And they were like, don't do that, bud. You don't know what you're doing. And he did it he tried it like 3 or 4 times, and then eventually he blew himself up.
Damn.
Wait, how do you make a rocket?
You can make rockets.
Where do you get the funding?
Couple soda bottles.
He lived in the desert.
Was it like an actual like working rocket or like a firecracker?
Well, I don't think it was working that well. I think he might have unalived himself. I'm not sure.
Whoa.
I know he's no longer with us.
Damn.
He had like a flat Earth GoFundMe to build rockets, and
Well, actually, I think he might have done. Yeah.
like he's like, come on, guys, the community can pull together. I can prove this. And they put money together, and, he's
And
like,
all
"Oh, now I'm gonna
14 of
build a
them
rocket."
put in all their money.
I think flat Earth is like one of the dumbest ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
like-
yeah.
And
It's
then-
like you are in the face of so much contradictory evidence.
I just think it's so dumb for how many people still believe it, or like there's still like people supporting it.
But yeah, it's really just like, man, if you want to do that, whatever. Just like, don't be trying to convince other people of it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know any better than we do that the Earth is. Well, I mean, we do know better that it's not, but
Right.
they don't have more evidence on their side. So if you're trying to get someone to believe something that you don't necessarily know for a fact is true, like, you're just messing around. You're just moving someone else's checkerboard around.
When all things are said and done, I feel like I don't really know if anything is true. You know, it's like,
Yeah, what are things we know is true? Because another thing we don't know is true is my red might not be your red.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
well, red is red. It's the
But
fiery-
red to me could be purple to you. We just don't know because color is just the way of like rays reflecting off of our retinas. Or some shit.
And people, and I mean, colorblind people can't see it the same way that you or I might be able to see it. And who knows that we see it the same way.
So we both agree it's red because it's a color we're all told is red.
Mm-hmm.
But if I switched bodies with you, Kevin, and looked at that sign, I'm like, wait, that's purple. That could be possible.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. Has that ever been disproven medically? Does it have to be? Is it in your brain, or like if you get a new eyeball put into your head, do you think that is what would change the color?
I don't think they can put new eyeballs in.
I feel like there could be a scientific
put new
way
eyeballs in.
I don't think they figured out.
Well,
how
they
to
can put a man
eyeballs.
on the moon. They can put new eyeballs in. Okay.
People have new eyeballs.
People have new eyeballs.
I don't know. I'm
know
kind of
if
with
they
Jack on that as well. I don't know if they know how.
How is blindness a thing then? If they just chop your eyes out and they put in new eyeballs?
No, that's what I'm saying. So you can maybe
That's
replace an eyeball, but can you replace the synapses and the little
Right.
nuts?
It's
and
probably
bolts
your
that
brain.
go into your brain.
Right.
Is that?
I think it's your brain because it's the way
Well, it's
you
both.
perceive. Yeah,
Both. Yeah.
Because you can burn your own cones out.
yeah.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It was very intriguing and thought provoking, and I might go off the deep end when I get home.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for blowing my mind.
Don't. That would be the wrong thing.
I saw that fall off into his head.
It stayed up there for 3 hours.
Yeah. Thor didn't like you talking about.
This is Thor.
Yeah.
Thor came down on me.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the NG. Wait a minute. I was trying to figure out where I do the plug thing. Guys, this is Matt. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's a conspiracy theory enthusiast, not an expert. You just
Correct.
are
But
very
a
interested in
debunker
that.
most of the time.
I think I don't know if I would even say enthusiast. I hate them.
Oh,
So you hate them so much, you have to dive into them to
Like
disprove
Batman.
them.
I'm so afraid of them that I had to make them my own power.
gotcha, guys. This is Matt. He's a hater. No, but you make YouTube videos your own and also on BuzzFeed.
Yes.
So we'll have his content linked below if you guys want to check it out. Well, guys, smash that like button if you're on YouTube. If you're on the audio, be sure to give us a nice review or a rating. We love that. And check out Matt's stuff on Twitch, YouTube. You can find him wherever. Matt Real. Thanks for watching the NGMI podcast. Peace out. Good night.